that. And in the last 5 years, this of course was the fifth budget that was presented by the Finance Minister. And since 2018, the normal people were really waiting for a change in the tax rates and the tax slabs. But that had not been happening for the last few budgets since financial year 2018. But now after 4 years, the tax rates and slabs have been changed. Let's take you through the 5 major highlights that the Finance Minister talked about. Number 1, now under the new tax regime, people with an income of 7 lakh will not be made to pay income taxes. Previously, this exemption limit was 5 lakh. So people till the income of 5 lakh were exempted from paying any direct income taxes. But now that exemption limit has been increased to 7 lakh rupees. So that's definitely a relief for people who were in that bracket of 5 to 7 lakh rupees, as they will now not be it will not be mandatory for them to pay an income tax under the new tax regime. It's important to mention here that these changes are under the new tax regime because, of course, the government has been trying to get more and more people to subscribe to the new tax regime because it hasn't seen many takers ever since it was announced in 2020. So that's one of the proposals that have been made to increase the popularity and increase the new tax regime and people who might be applying for that. Now, to the other major announcements that have been made earlier under the new tax regime, there were 7 tax slabs, but now those tax slabs have been reduced to 5. Let's take you through how this changes your life. Well, earlier, the taxes really started from an income of 2.5 lakh rupees under the new tax regime. But now that has been increased in the tax slabs, that has been increased to 3 lakh rupees. So the earlier tax regime said that there were 7 tax slabs up to 2.5 lakh rupees. There was no tax, but now up to 3 lakh rupees, there'll be no tax. Let's take you through the new tax regime. 0 to 3 lakh rupees, there'll be no tax. 3 to 6 lakh rupees, there'll be a 5% tax. 6 to 9 lakh rupees, there'll be a 10% tax. 9 to 12 lakh rupees, a 15% tax. And 12 to 15 lakh rupees, a 20% tax. And above 15 lakh, it'll be a tax of 30%. So these are the new tax regime, the revisions in the new tax regime that have been announced by the Finance Minister. That will also come as a major relief to the common people. Another important highlight is that the maximum tax rate has been reduced. The Finance Minister said that this will provide a major relief to the common people. Let's give you an example. So anybody who had an individual income of 9 lakh rupees will now be required to pay 45,000 rupees as an income tax. But this is 5% of his income according to the new tax regime. But earlier they had to pay 60,000. So it is a reduction of close to 25% from that 60,000 to now 45,000 that people with an income of 9 lakh rupees will have to pay. If we give you another example, somebody with an income of 15 lakh rupees will now be required to pay 1.5 lakh rupees or 10% of their income. Earlier, they had to pay 1,87,500 rupees. So that's a reduction of 20% as well. So this is how the common people will benefit from this. Another highlight is that the salaried class and for pensions, for pensioners, the Finance Minister has proposed to extend the benefit of standard deduction to the new tax regime. Earlier, this deduction was only in the old tax regime, but that deduction of maximum 52,000 rupees. But now that has been extended to the new tax regime as well. This will benefit salaried people and those availing a pension. Now, the maximum tax rate that was there for the country, that has also been reduced, and that will also come as a benefit to the common people. This would, the overall highest tax rate in our country was 42.74%. But this is among the highest in the world, if I may add. But this has been reduced to 37%. The Finance Minister has proposed to reduce the highest surcharge rate from 37% to 25% in the new tax regime. And this would result in a reduction of the maximum tax rate to 39%. So the maximum tax rate in our country, which was among the highest in the world, was 42.74%, but that has now been reduced to 37%. Lastly, the limit of 3 lakh rupees for tax exemption of leave encashment on retirement for non-government salaried employees, which was fixed in the year 2002, has now been, the limit was 30,000 per month, but now it has now been increased. So these are the major announcements on the tax front, but this of course will cost the government as well. And let's take you through the government's cost through this. As a result of these proposals, revenue of about 38,000 crores will be foregone by the government. But in addition to that, 3,000 crore will be mobilized. So overall, these new tax proposals will cost the government 35,000 crore rupees.